The anticipation has been fever pitch. We've been talking about this moment for a while now. That massive debut from Mahindra when it comes to the electric space. Let's talk about that straight away with Rajesh Jejurikar. It's great to see you.
Hi Siddharth, good to have you
And
here with us here in
it's nice to
Chennai.
be here in MSPT, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, I appreciate your time. I know it's a crazy packed, busy day for you today. But what a day. I mean, this is in many ways, like I said, something that was expected. But at the same time, for the company, this is next level. It's a big deal.
Yeah, when there was a lot of conversation 3 years back on how we're going to take on the EV space and the EV world, and for us, we said we've got to do it as a quantum leap. We believe the market will take 2-3 years from 2021, so 24-25 is when we believe the market will be ready, and at that time we've got to be ahead of the curve. The other thing I want to talk about, and we've called this event Unlimit India. And the reason for that is we believe that this is India's moment in history and in the world space. And what we've created are and launched right now 2 products based on the Inglo platform with Maya as the brain behind it. We believe these are world beating products, and which is why yesterday and through today, what you witnessed, you saw us comparing ourselves with global luxury brands at significantly higher price points. Because we believe what we've created here can take on anyone in the world. And this is hence not just Mahindra's moment of pride, but India's moment of pride. And we're really excited to have presented this to all of you and all our customers yesterday and today as well.
There's lots to understand, lots to break down in just what you just said as well. But first things first, the brands that we have seen, there's the B brand, there's the XEV brand. Why was it important to firstly have these separate brands? And clarify for us, are we supposed to say Mahindra XEV 9E or is it just XEV 9E?
It's just XUV 9E and it's B6E. So it's not BE, it's B, like just B.
Just B, yeah.
And because in a way, the two brands represent two very different personalities and characteristics, even though they are both on the Inglo platform. So the B brand is a very, very strong self-expression. It's a driver's car. So, it's the car you want to drive yourself, much like the Thar is. It's really an expression of how you feel and, how you want to live your life. So the B brand is for that. The explorers, the adventurers. The XEV is a little more elegant, suave, sophisticated. You'd love to drive it yourself, but you'd feel very comfortable with being chauffeur driven as well. So, the two brands are different. The XEV carries over the legacy of the XUV brand, but in a completely different avatar.
Now, you've had a situation where you've been able to coexist your current portfolio or your ICE portfolio with these kind of attributes under one brand. So, again, why the need to have two separate identities? Was it important from the point of view of the customer that you're looking at?
Yeah, so different design languages, Siddharth, you understand this better than anyone else. And brands must, in a way, represent the design is such an important element of what the brand stands for. So even in our ICE portfolio, we use different brands like a Scorpio or a Thar or an XUV 700 or a 3XO to really bring alive the story of what that brand tells us. But there's still a unifying idea and unifying DNA to put it under the Mahindra master brand. But each brand as a vertical stands and says its own story.
Tell me something then going forward. I mean, all of this is going to happen within your existing dealership network. It's not like you're doing a separate retail strategy for these brands, which it makes sense. I mean, I agree with that logic. But fair to say then that few years down the line, you would have just these different brand pillars. There's the XUV brand, there's the Thar brand, there's, Bolero perhaps, and then, of course, these two, where they become families unto themselves.
Yep.
Is that how
That's
where you're
broadly
going?
how it is. So if we bring an electric Scorpio on the Inglo platform or any other platform, which will be electric origin, it would be Scorpio dot E something. So we'd carry over the origin brand into the electric space as well.
So they become the sort of mother brand,
Mother
and then you
brands,
have model lines under
Yeah.
that.
We'll think of variations like XEV is a variation
Yeah.
of XUV.
Now these families themselves, you've got the 9E, you've got the 6E. What sort of a plan do you have? What's the roadmap? I mean, in the past, of course, you've shown us concepts. You have spoken about them being multiple attributes, body styles, shapes, and sizes. Now, how's it looking for you?
Uh, we continue to have the pipeline of the products that we spoke about, some of which were in concept stage and will productionize as per a certain schedule. So we would expand the portfolio, but we right now want to focus on these two brands, settle them in vis-a-vis customer understanding, because there's a story to be told, and we believe that education around the technology and the features and any barriers that people may have to make the switch is something we must give time to customers to understand.
Yeah, it is. It is a huge transition, not just for you but for the customer too. There's been years of this talk. First mover, yet late to the party. Where are the electrics? Why aren't they here yet? So I respect the fact that you made the very clear point that there was a point in the market where you saw, let's say, a sweet spot coming, where acceptance and this transition would have already been underway. And then it was important for you to not just have an electric, but have these really credible, strong products. Now we can see the embodiment of that in these cars. But was that the tricky part to get them feature rich, figure out how to really sort of benchmark against the best, or was the tricky part then figuring out how to price them well? Now don't say both,
No, so
because I know it's a bit of both.
one without the other doesn't work.
Sure.
Yeah. So to say we created wow products but nobody can access them is really no
It's
strategy.
worthless. Yeah.
Is no strategy, right? So it is really, and that's what we've done very well, I believe, over the last 5-6 years, is create huge aspirational value for customers with the DNA of our brand, the tech that we bring in, but make it accessible. And that's what is bringing customers in on our current portfolio. And we hope that's what will happen with these two new launches. And we've already seen a lot of that happen over the last 3-4 weeks as we led into the launch. But even between yesterday and today, millions of views on multiple handles. There's a huge positive energy and excitement about wanting to try something. And which is why we, gave prices of two versions yesterday, one version of each of the two products, just to kind of say that, okay, while we've compared this with all the global luxury brands, we're not going to price it at global luxury brands, because then we are like everyone else. The real Unlimit India is to really say you can do all of that, but there is an Indian DNA on how to do this right. So it is that global moment where we say you do all this, but it's affordable.
I have to say, in the morning when I was driving both the cars, people were pulling over and pulling out their phones as they went by. I mean, that's great to see. It's always great to see that. But some of that also comes back to the fact that it is an Indian company, and that's exciting. The part about, where you say you're not going to price it like these global luxury brands, so that it's accessible. What's also refreshing in a way is to see that you've not just gone after existing segments of, the more affordable players either. Are these new segments? How are you viewing this? Are you creating a new space?
Yeah, we are in a space where we have to grow categories and grow markets, especially when that doesn't exist. So the electric, people talk about, okay, where are you today in the electric space? And we've always said that's not relevant. It doesn't exist. So, what's the point in calculating market share of something which doesn't exist? We've seen over time that, and you are a great advocate of this, that great products create categories. And we believe when we have great products, people will come on because you're giving them something which is desirable, aspirational. You want to bring this home.
And great value.
And great value.
Yeah.
So you make the transition very easy.
Now, given all of this, and I'm not going to let's say, trivialize the fact that isn't still a huge challenge, because with the powertrain, explaining to people how it works, charging, there's so many aspects to it. What are the sort of projections you have? I'm not looking for volume or profitability margin figures, but 2 years down the line, what are these cars going to do to your portfolio? What percentage? How do you see it?
So, we put this out earlier, Siddharth, so I'll repeat that. We had said in 2027, 20 to 30% of our sales should come from electric.
But by then you will have more models as well.
By then we'll have more models as well.
And
not
presumably your overall pie would have grown substantially.
And that sometimes when we reflect on that, we say maybe that was not the right metric. But Assuming that, you know, at a certain steady rate of growth, we
Yeah.
should be between, in 2027, between 130,000 and 200,000 per year of electric SUVs.
And what does that mean for capacity then?
So capacities will be aligned to try to get to 200,000. Of course, we'll operationalize it with manning based on how actual
By
demand
existing
plays out.
sites, or you think you'll need something
No,
fresh?
all the electric vehicles are coming up at existing plant in Chakan.
All right.
And we'll get you there soon. We'll get you to Chakan soon to see it.
Yeah, it's been a while actually since I've been on the shop floor.
Yeah, so it's 7th, 8th Jan. Please do join us in Chakan to experience
that's good enough notice as there can be.
Yeah, so please don't plan anything else on that day.
Done. Now, quick thing about proposition. The last thing I want to quickly touch upon. As you announce prices for the other variants, and I'm sure you will have certain sort of, plans in terms of how people can access these vehicles. Some of what we've seen in the market, whether it is, what MG did with battery as a service, or what you're seeing with, let's say, buybacks, and how much of that plays a role, because your buyer is not necessarily the same as theirs. In your case, the buyer is also a tier 2, tier 3 buyer. Would you actively target them, and then would you have these kind of schemes in mind?
That's something, Siddharth, we'll come to in more detail.
Like you said yesterday that the charger's price is not included.
Yeah, but we will have price options with chargers. The reason we didn't add that yesterday is different customers will choose what kind of charging option they want.
So you'll have different models.
So yeah, so we will have a charging option A and a charging option B, which customers can choose, which will add to the price.
All right. No, I don't think anybody will forgive me if I don't ask you, how are you coping with the demand for your current ICE portfolio? Long waiting periods. How's the juggling going at the manufacturing end?
We have a few products which have done really well.
That's really putting it mildly, Rajesh.
And
you did it almost with a straight face.
We keep raising the bar on what capacity we need to get to. I think we underestimated how well ROX will do. So, but we are increasing capacities of ROX as well as we speak. So we will be trying to bring the waiting periods down.
All good problems to have.
Thank you so much.
You've had them for a while, and wish you all the very best.
Thanks.
This is incredible. It's exciting, and can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Yeah.
Can't wait to spend more time with the cars as well.
Yeah, rush and get around some time to do that.
Really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.